the battle that shaped the landscape of Europe. Numerous battles have left their marks in the pages of history throughout the era of the Great European Wars during the 18th and 19th century. One such battle took place between the Serbs and the Ottoman Empire that shaped the geopolitical landscape of Southeast Europe. Taking place on a hill rising above the city of Niš, this battle is marked as a crucial turning point in Serbia's history of warfare to free itself from Turkish dominion. Stay with us till the end as we tell you all about the Battle of Chegar and how it gave Serbia its most gruesome monument. Early in the 19th century, the Austrian Habsburg monarchy started to rise in strength and was looking to eclipse the Ottoman Empire in terms of might and ambition. Under the charismatic and determined leadership of Karađorđe Petrović, the Serbs revolted against Ottoman control and waged a protracted war of independence against the Ottoman Empire's might. The Balkan Peninsula became a battlefield for supremacy of these two empires. Not only this, the Austrians also supported the rebellion in Serbia as they saw it as a chance for them to increase their power. The first major Serbian uprising battle took place on May 31, 1809, between Serbian revolutionaries and Ottoman soldiers close to the Niš fortress. This conflict between the Ottoman Empire and the Austrian Habsburg monarchy, fought in the heart of the Balkans, displayed the complexities of warfare and the battle for regional control. Miloš Petrović served as a commander-in-chief as 10,000 rebels from Serbia marched against the nearby villages of Kamenica, Konji, and Donji Matijevac on April 15, 1809. This big force dug 6 trenches at different places. Stefan Sendelic oversaw the first and largest trench, which was located on Chegar Hill. The second one was led by Peter Dobrnjak and was located in the village of Donji Matijevac. The third trench was made in the northeast end towards Kamenica under Ilija Barhatrović. Miloš Petrović, the commander-in-chief, served as the head commander of the fourth trench, which was located at Kamenica, while the fifth and the sixth trench was in the hills above Kamenica and Donji Matijevac, respectively. On the opposite side, the Ottoman forces were commanded by Ursid Pasha, the fortress's Ottoman commander, who had 8,000 soldiers guarding the fort and its surroundings. The battle began and Niš fortress was the target of multiple Serb raids, but due to a shortage of heavy weaponry, they were unable to capture it. In these conditions, their plan was to prolong the siege in order to compel Ursid Pasha to give up. However, Hursid was quite clever and used a different strategy. He offered negotiations following each Serbian assault, and by doing so, he purchased time until more forces arrived. As he did this, 20,000 soldiers from Rumelia were added to the Ottoman army on May 20. Consequently, the Serbian troops were surrounded by one Ottoman battalion 30 kilometers east of the town, which saw Hajduk Veljko and his 2,000 soldiers leaving their position and advancing to thwart the Ottoman attack. The Chegar Hill. This operation resulted in Serbian positions on the primary front line to be significantly degraded. Then, on May 30, Ottoman forces launched an assault against Peter Dobrnjak's trench. The following day, the most important trench at Chegar Hill came under attack, which was under the leadership of Stefan Sinjelic. This battle lasted all day long, as liberating Niš entailed having unrestricted access to Kosovo and Old Serbia. Stefan and his group were cut off from the other Serb guerrilla locations, but he and his troops ferociously resisted. However, in the face of thousands of Ottoman soldiers, Stefan knew that his brigade had little chance of halting the Ottoman offense. He noticed that he was left alone and that he wouldn't be able to hang on for very long, as the Turks forced the Serbian army back and approached the trench. As he was left with limited options in the face of defeat, he had to make the decision. A decision that could change the lives of his people. A decision that could fuel the fire to greatness. A decision that would make him immortal in the pages of history. And just like all the great men do, Stefan Sinjelic did the unthinkable. He fired the bullet into the powder magazine, which exploded the trench, killing everyone there and nearby. The war was over there, but victory came at a price that was too high. The explosion killed Stefan Sinjelic and all of his soldiers. This was a big moral win for the Serbs, as 4 Turkish troops perished for every Serbian soldier who died. However, the rebellion in the city of Niš was successfully put down by the Ottomans. The Skull Tower. After the war was over, the Ottoman leader Hursid Pasha ordered to build a tower using the skulls of dead Serbian rebels at Chegar Hill. Consequently, the severed heads of Serbian insurgents who had died in combat were used to build the tower. The skulls of roughly 952 Serbian rebels were collected and were carried to Niš impaled on protruding spikes. The skulls were then arranged in 14 rows with 17 skulls in each row. The skulls were covered with a layer of mortar to strengthen the tower, which rose to a height of almost 15 feet. The skull tower was an intentional act of psychological warfare designed to terrorize and subjugate the Serbian people. It was intended to deter further rebellion and serve as a caution against opposing Ottoman control. And quite obviously, the skyscraper was visible and had an impact because of its horrifying aspect and conspicuous location. However, in the following years, many skulls were removed from the tower walls, as some were taken away for burial by family members who believed they could identify the skulls of their deceased loved ones, and some were taken by hunters looking for souvenirs. In 1861, Mithat Pasha, the final Ottoman administrator of Niš, decided to demolish the skull tower. He understood that it no longer effectively deterred potential insurrectionists and instead rather stoked local animosity towards the Ottomans by serving as a reminder of the brutality of the empire. After the Ottomans left Niš, the Royal Serbian Army searched the town and its surroundings for the missing skulls in 1878, preserving the tower. Then, in early 20th century, efforts were undertaken to preserve and remember this monument. The Serbian government began repair efforts after realizing its historical significance. More mortar was added to safeguard the tower's structural stability and safeguard the surviving skulls. Then, in 1948, the Serbian government formally recognized the skull tower as a cultural monument. To protect the site and give visitors historical context, additional restoration and conservation work were made in the ensuing decades. The tower is housed in a tiny church and encircled by a garden honoring the Serbian rebels who gave their lives. For the Serbian people, the skull tower continues to be a profound representation of national pride and resistance. It serves as a somber reminder of the horrors committed during the fight for independence and the cost of freedom. The tower's unsettling presence never fails to stir feelings of solemn reflection and respect for those who sacrificed their lives in the fight for freedom. Currently, in 2023, the wall of Skull Tower still has 58 skulls implanted in it. The skull of Stevan Senjelic, the hero behind all this, is housed in a glass container next to the monument. Many Serbs view it as a representation of their freedom, and it is now a well-liked tourist destination that receives between 30,000 and 50,000 visitors yearly. Interestingly enough, there is also a famous documentary by the name of Battle on Chegar Hill, which illustrates well-known historical events from the first Serbian uprising.